Shabbat Shalom. Last Sunday, we invited our nieces and nephews over to come and play with our kids. The cousins love spending time together, and of course, we love watching them play. But this also means that we need to stay vigilant and make sure that all of our kids are playing safely. So the kids asked if they could go run around outside in the sprinkler to cool off, and I explained that the sprinkler wasn't working. Not believing me, they began trying to manipulate it by turning the faucet, shaking it, and eventually hitting it with their hands. Guys, please don't do that. You're gonna break it. Not seeming to care about my guidance, they grabbed a wiffle ball bat and began striking the water spout. Guys, if you hit it, it's going to break. Again, they struck the water faucet, and what do you know? All of a sudden, as predicted, water began to shoot up from the ground like a geyser, and the water propelled 8 feet up into the air. Striking an object to get water after being told not to do it. Does that sound familiar? Yes. Oh, you know the story. In this week's Parsha, Moses informs the Israelites that he will not be allowed to enter the promised land. A decision by God after, among other things, Moses strikes the rock to extract water after being instructed not to. On its face, it may seem a little unfair. Here's Moses, the greatest leader of all time, the man who carried the Israelites through the wilderness, advocated on their behalf, sacrificed his life to protect his people, and this is the thanks he gets. But then when we take a closer look, the Torah may be offering us an important lesson on leadership and term limits. Rabbi Lord Jonathan Sacks, former chief rabbi of the United Kingdom, writes, "Each age produces its leaders, and each leader is a function of an age. There may be certain timeless truths about leadership. A leader must have courage, a leader must be able to relate to each individual according to his or her distinctive needs, but above all, a leader must constantly learn. A leader must be sensitive to the call of the hour, to the generation." It is said that leadership is time-bound and not timeless. And after 40 years of leadership, it's time for Moses to pass the torch. He will pass the torch to the next generation of leaders who will face new challenges, a new set of struggles, unique opportunities that will ultimately transform over time and shape the course of our Jewish history. All around the world, we witness leaders, once popular in their countries, become increasingly unpopular as they fail to adapt to the changing societies around them, who fail to understand that each generation is different from the last. There's no denying that Moses was the greatest leader our people has ever known. And while he didn't enter the land of Canaan, I believe he did reach his promised land. Although physically unable to enter, Moses oversaw the largest exodus in the history of the world. He led his people out of slavery, went to the mountaintop, and from there gave us the code of law and ethics of moral conduct that we still use today, that we read today, the 10 Commandments. Moses had the foresight to know that his people were starving for a leader, someone who they could trust, someone who would respond to the challenges of that day. And while he faced seemingly insurmountable challenges along the way, together with his brother Aaron and sister Miriam, he stood strong in the face of conflict and brought the Israelites to redemption. I believe that we all have a promised land, things we want to accomplish, goals we set out to achieve. We learn from the Bible that at the heart of our existence is a challenge. The challenge to overcome. The challenge to identify and understand our struggles so that collectively we can make the world a better place. And we all have the potential for greatness. We see it every day, from police officers who risk their lives, from firefighters who run directly into danger so that others can run away, to ordinary citizens who perform extraordinary acts of love and kindness. We have the opportunity to reach our promised land. We've been saved more than once. We've been given miracle after miracle, and God has entrusted God's people with the awesome responsibility of being our brother's keeper. Kol arevim ze bazeh. A promised land is more than a physical location, more than an idea, more than a concept. A promised land is a state of existence, a conscious and deliberate act to live each day trying to make a difference. And if we leave this earth knowing that we touched the lives of others, that we did our part to make this world a better place, then we know we have truly reached our promised land. May we be forever blessed with the opportunity to make meaningful and lasting change in the world, and may we feel God's presence as we walk toward our individual promised lands. Shabbat Shalom.